Hello, in today's video we will be testing Ultimate's Overlord's Mega Magic Sword. We will give this weapon for different characters and make it compete with other free-to-play Claymores. Is Melusines the best weapon dealers? Let's find out. New event. And as reward we have new free-to-play Claymore, Ultimate Overlord's Mega Magic Sword. And this sword is awesome. Today finally we can get final refinement on it, and let's see what this weapon is offering. First of all, we have high base attack combined with energy recharge. This is nothing impressive, but if we go to the passive, we have 40% attack buff without battle conditions to activate. And at first sight, 40% attack doesn't look like something special, because we have already Tidal Shadow in the game, and this weapon has this same 40% attack. But first of all, Tidal Shadow has conditions to activate, and in some teams you cannot have 100% uptime on this weapon, especially on Bennett teams. And with new weapon you doesn't have any battle conditions to activate it. When you equip it, you already have straightforward 40% attack buff. And the second thing, Tidal Shadow has lower base attack, and this buff has higher value with 565 base attack. As example, we have Prototype Archaic in the game, and Prototype Archaic had this same 565 base attack, and with substat it gaining only 27% attack percentage. So these stats synergize very well, and this alone makes this Claymore very good free-to-play weapon, even with energy recharge substat. And today we will test this weapon on this free character, Diluc, Fremina and Beidou. Unfortunately, I don't have Navia and we cannot test it, but in the end I will explain about this weapon with Navia too. How to understand is your passive working or not. And to check that, just make an attack. And after that, if you have these sparkling and popping Melusine animations, you have full potential buff on this weapon. And what quest you need to make to activate this weapon? The quest that activating this weapon passive starts right here. Here we'll meet Melusine in the shore that needs our help, and this will unlock 3 acts quest in Melusine village, and you need to complete all 3 acts. This quest is called Ancient Colors, and you can find guides on it. But these 3 acts wouldn't be enough to activate this weapon on full potential, so you would need to come back to Melusine village and complete another quest. I went right here, and here we'll have Verenata Melusine. She will stand right here close to Xana. The quest is called Echoes of the Ancient World, and after completing it, you will get the weapon for the full potential. One unfortunate thing, we don't have any indicators to understand how many stacks we have on this weapon. Animation is only showed when we've done everything, and I'm really loving idea of this weapon. After work is done, you will have 100% uptime on this passive always. I always criticize overly restrictive weapon or weapon that have a lot of layers to activate passive, and this idea where you need to spend some time and after that you will have 100% uptime is very interesting. And now let's go for the testing. Tidal Shadow. If you're watching my channel for a while, you probably know that I love to main Fremina, and we will test weapon in this version of physical Fremina team. Fremina is attack scaling character, and attack is very appreciated on him. And about energy recharge. If you have Fremina on lower constellation like I do, you probably know that you need to meet his energy requirements, so energy recharge substat wouldn't be wasted here too. And let's look on Fremina stats with this weapon. 2143 attack, which is insane without Pyro Resonance, 34 192 crit ratio and 149 energy recharge. And let's see at the damage. So please, starting with Furina, then Beidou, then Mika burst, Mika skill, going to Fremina using skill burst, starting normal attacks, and skill 48,000. Yes, almost 48,900. So yes, but as you can see in the end we have our burst back. So let's remember this number and let's go further. And now let's move to competitor weapon. And competitor weapon will be Tidal Shadow, the best free-to-play weapon for the physical Fremina. In this team we have Mika for the healing, and with Mika we would have 100% uptime on this weapon passive. And let's look at the stats. With Tidal Shadow we have 167 attack. Crit ratio would be the same, and only 180 energy recharge. And now let's add the damage. We are going with this same rotation, starting with Furina, Beidou, Mika, and finally going to Fremina. And how much we're doing? 52,600. Yeah, that was expected. In the teams where you can have Tidal Shadow passive 100% uptime, of course Tidal Shadow would be better. The damage difference for the skill right now is 3670, and this means that Tidal Shadow is 7.5% better, and I would say this quite big difference. So Tidal Shadow is a clearly winner here. Favonius Greatsword. And now we will test this weapon on Beidou, because soon Beidou will become way more usable, because we'll get Chivalrys in the game, and she's looking like very solid Electra and Pyro support. And we will be testing Beidou as a sub DPS in this Yoimi's team. I will not explain idea behind this team right now, but very soon I will make the whole video about Yoimi. And Melusine Claymore looks perfect for the Beidou. Beidou is attack scaling and she needs energy recharge, because her burst costs HT energy and we have 0 constellations that help us with energy problems. And if we are using Emblem of Severed Fate, and her energy recharge is increasing her damage too. And now let's look at the stats. We have 1785 attack, 63 127 crit ratio and 225 energy recharge. And now let's test the damage. So starting with Xingqiu, then we're going to Bennett, then snapshotting with Beidou, then going to Yoimi, starting normal attacks, and Beidou doing 40,632. Pretty nice, let's finish the boss. We're remembering this number and we're going for the next weapon. And competitor weapon will be Favonius. Yes, when I'm using Beidou as a sub DPS, I'm using this weapon on her. And because Favonius is giving us additional elemental particles and lowering our energy requirements by a huge amount, I'm using her with attack stance with this weapon. Right now you can see comparison between them. Energy recharge stance is a little bit better. And now let's see at the stats. With Favonius we have 1544 attack, 64 125 crit ratio and 203 energy recharge. Let's make this same rotation and test our damage. So Xingqiu, Bennett, Beidou to snapshot, Yoimi, normal attacks, and we're doing 12,927. Yes, our damage dropped by a bit. So yes, the damage drop with Favonius is quite noticeable. We lost 11.6% of our damage. Because Favonius has low base attack, attack percentage stats are not covering our losses. But let's remember that Favonius is still better at energy management, and not only for Beidou but for the whole team. Rainslasher. And now we will be testing this weapon on Vaporized Diluc. This is my standard Vaporized Diluc team. Cardboard is very flammable, so Diluc will find usage for this weapon. But there is one unfortunate thing: energy recharge. I would say this is wasted stat for Diluc, because his burst costs only 40 energy. And most of the time Diluc played with second Pyro character, so he doesn't have any energy problems. And let's see what stats we are having with this weapon. We have 2137 attack, 187 elemental mastery, 92-100 HT3 crit ratio, and unfortunately 156 energy recharge. And now for the damage test. So starting with Bennett, swinging Pyro, going to Xingqiu, skill, burst, another skill, Diluc's burst, and how much? 102,048k first skill, and last skill 56k. And you know why we're still hitting the boss? Our second skill didn't crit, half of our normal attacks didn't crit, and this all with 92% crit rate. And he is doing this all the time. I don't know what's wrong with my Diluc, but we're finally finished the boss. And now let's move to the competitor, and the competitor will be Rainslasher. Rainslasher is still the best free-to-play Claymore for the Vaporized Diluc. If you watched my Tidal Shadow video, you probably know that Rainslasher outperformed this weapon. And with Rainslasher we will be using Attack Sense. I found Attack Sense with same crit ratio that we have on Elemental Mastery, so comparison will be fair. The only difference is Elemental Mastery and attack percentage substats. And start with Rainslasher, we have 1966 attack, 189 elemental mastery, and exactly the same crit ratio. And now let's see at the damage. So doing the same rotation, swinging Pyro, applying Hydra, Diluc's burst, and how much? 110,000. First skill 54,000, second skill 50,000, and last skill 61,000. And you know what's happening? He is critting, he is finally critting. And I jinxed that, last 2 hits didn't crit, but we're finishing the boss. And the result is expected. We've done more damage with burst initial hit, and our skills was doing more damage with Rainslasher, and percentage-wise Rainslasher was performing 8.5% better. So yes, if you can utilize Rainslasher passive, this weapon is really good. What about Navia? Unfortunately, I'm skipping Navia right now and saving my Primogems for Cloud Retainer, and I cannot showcase this weapon on her. But we can answer a couple of simple questions to understand if this weapon works on her. First question, is Navia attack scaling? And yes, Navia is 100% attack scaling character, and not only attack scaling, high attack scaling. Second question, do we need energy for Navia? Yes, her burst cost is 60 energy, and her burst can be quite impactful on her rotations. And even though we have 2 stacks on her skill, we still need to meet energy requirements. Third question, does Navia has healing in her kit? And no, Navia doesn't have any healing in her kit, so she cannot activate Tidal Shadow passive by herself. Fourth question, who is the best healer for Navia? And yes, it's Bennett. And as we all know, Bennett is not reliant Tidal Shadow activator. So on the given information, I would say this is not only good weapon for Navia, this is the best free-to-play Claymore for her. Yes, in some teams Tidal Shadow could be better, but you would need to sacrifice 1 slot for the better healer than Bennett. Conclusion. Oh my god, this weapon is awesome. Yes, this weapon doesn't won every competition today, but it doesn't lost with very high margin. And it's only weapon that can be used on every character from today's video in every team. Which I cannot say about Rainslasher, Favonius or even Tidal Shadow. So Melusine Claymore is a very universal. And right now we have discount on leveling up this weapon. Please don't miss that, it's definitely worth your resources. And what you are thinking about this Claymore, please let me know in the comments. And thank you for the watching, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video.